Hello, everyone, and welcome to Words with You and the Poetry Salon's monthly reading. I am Trisha Faye Hefner. The person to my left here, who looks like she's a tiny little ant on the underside of a tiny little leaf, is Robbie Nestor. She's hiding from the birds of prey by hiding under the plant life. We have a fantastic reading tonight with Cornelius Eady and Tim Siebels, who I am meeting for the first time, so I really hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly. And before we get started, I want to say that if you don't know the Poetry Salon, we are on a mission to make inspiration, education, and quality artistic community available to people throughout the world using the magic of the internet. And I want to make a quick announcement, which is that we are starting a press in the not so distant future. And in the month of August, I'm going to be teaching a workshop on Sundays called Writer as Editor. And if you want to take this workshop, it is by donation basis. It'll give you some tools for knowing how to select a poem, how to, slightly more objectively evaluate a poem, curate a poem, and give kind but supportive feedback on poems. And I'm teaching some of the lessons that I learned from my master's in the psychology of creativity, plus the billions of years I've spent studying under my favorite poets and teaching at the Poetry Salon. If anyone's thought about being a reader for a press, this would be an awesome opportunity. And signing up for this workshop does not require you to commit to reading for the press. It might be a great way to just find out more about it. And I'm going to put the link to all of that information and all of our other events in the chat. And then I'm going to close my poetry making machine here and turn this over to Robbie Nestor, who will introduce our features. Robbie, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Although I can't see you because I have the bio up in front of me, I can hear you. So I will introduce our first feature, who is Tim Siebels. And if there's anyone whose poetry you need to hear right now, it's Tim. Tim's poems always make me smile, except when they're sad, and they still make me smile. But Tim is the author of several books of poetry, including Hurdy-Gurdy and Buffalo Head Solos, published by the Cleveland State University Poetry Center. His collection, Fast Animal, published by Etruscan Press, was a finalist for the 2012 National Book Award and winner of the Theodore Redke Memorial Poetry Prize. In 2017, his book, One Turn Around the Sun, was released. He was the Poet Laureate of Virginia from 2016 to 2018. A collection of his new and selected poems, Voodoo Libretto, was released by Etruscan in 2022. And I will put up a link where you can learn more about his books. And then, Tim, you can get started.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Robbie. And it's such a pleasure to certainly be here and to read with Cornelius Eady, someone whose work I've admired for many, many years. Long before he ever knew of me, I knew of him. I'm gonna start with a piece called "Simple Song Blues Villanelle." It's after the song by Sly and the Family Stone. Time is passing, I grow older, things are happening fast. This tongue I use, these things I do, will probably come to grief. All I have to hold on to is a simple song at last. The world rolls on, the shadow knows, it's sunset in a flash. I'm trying not to be the guy who always has a beef. Time is passing. I got older. Things are happening fast. Every time I drive my car, I think about a crash. I'd rather be a giant ray and wing the coral reef. All I want to hold on to is a simple song at last. Don't we go a sadly jobbing, trying to get some cash? Today I'll slip away, sip the dew, and sift the breeze. Wish this time could last. It won't last. All these TV talking Teds can give a man a rash. I squint my ears to listen. I must be going deaf. Time has passed me. I got older. Night comes slowly fast. Don't let worry set your face. Just think about your stash. The hours cast and reel you in, a worm between your teeth. All you have to hold on to is a simple song at last. Drowse along the riverside and dream into the grass. Let the baby blue jays jitterbug from branch to leaf. They think all this will last. It might last. Whip those sweet potatoes, baby, quick into a mash. Only thing can fill me up is just this late belief. Time is passing. I grow older. Things are happening fast. All you get to hold on to is a simple song at last. This is a persona poem in the voice of Popeye. I was a big fan of Popeye when I was a little kid, and for whatever reason, I started having like flashbacks of some of the things that were going on in that cartoon. I'd watch that cartoon every day after school, every day. It's called Popeye in Love. I am what I am, and Brutus ain't nothing but a stink bug with a beard. I need you, Olive. You're a lighthouse for the lost ship of me seasick soul. I'm tired of Sea Hag and Wimpy. I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. He's always gone till Wednesday. I ain't no dope. I feels for the poor schlub, but enough's enough. I know what I wants, and it's you. Your walk packs me tobaccy, puffs up me sails, airmails the spinach to me salty heart. If this ain't love, I'm a landlubber, and me forearms ain't fat as me head. I love your tiny eyes, them spindly legs, that pigtail. And when you wear your black skirt with hiking boots, you know you lights me pipe. And this is a poem I actually wrote for Cornelius. It's called Either Way. I make reference to the miracles, and some of you will remember that before we just started thinking of Smokey Robinson as Smokey, the group was Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. Either way, for Cornelius Eady. Days when something grazes my shoulder, sunlight, sidewalk, the shadows sharp. The sky holds a cold, unbreakable blue that says, why look up here? Doesn't seem like so far back. Couldn't dance, scared of girls. I heard Smokey sing, go into a go, with that soft crystal in his voice. Pictures, music caught somewhere in my head. I'm sick of memory. My younger self still inside, wanting a way out of this, who I am now. This busy all the time, this itch, middle of my back. But who was that kid in the basement, all alone with the miracles moving his feet? The orange couch covered in plastic, black marks on the beige linoleum. Something about solitude, if you can handle it, makes you feel wise. The voice in your head talking its way somewhere, pressing you to believe what it says. And though you can't remember when, you grow into it, or you don't. Each thought breaks into the next, keeps on, turns back. Either way, you don't ever really understand. Just as you get used to the snow shingling your hair, your idols, one by one, begin to leave. Their old tunes fill the coffee shops and gently bob your head. What is it that your life forgot to mention? Hum a few bars, you say. This is a poem. It's called "Sing," and it's based on something that actually happened. I riffed off an actual event. It'll be explained in the poem. Yeah, it's just called "Sing," and it's dedicated to that guy, whoever he was. Chinchilla, he shouts. Chinchilla, as if calling a dog that was being doggedly unresponsive, boneheadedly delinquent about coming home. But this man's face is tilted toward the sky, as if he means to rename the sun Chinchilla, though the big star ignores his flabby hat and mismatched shoes. Chinchilla, he goes on, as if someone had stolen his fine coat and he wants the whole neighborhood on the lookout for an ill-gotten velvety gray fur. Chinchilla, chinchilla, he grows louder, as if he's been jilted by the former president of Costa Rica, Laura Chinchilla, who'd left him bereft after a blinding night of bottomless kisses that had lulled him into a love he thought would last forever. But now, on Collie Avenue, he can only fly her surname like a Jolly Roger above his bitter ship. Chinchilla, an SOS, as if this cry might finally bring her back. As if these three notes could drown out the baleful thudding of his blundered heart. Or maybe he just needs his fellow citizens to share this trouble, to sing along until the whole nation is reborn, a small animal whose legendary softness turns the 50 states plush and cozy for all. And why not? Who's to say what the right word might do for a place so utterly sad and confused? Oh, spacious skies, oh, amber waves, such fruited plains, bristling with missiles and power-mad idiots. Chinchilla, goddammit, chinchilla. This poem is called Seeking Asylum. And the title goes right into the body of the piece. Excuse me, sorry. Seeking asylum, the poem enters quietly, without any state-approved ID, with nothing that says where it belongs. Many things had become unbearable, so much so that when the official asks, "Why did you leave your country?" the poem turns its palms up and sobs at the shiny white vinyl walls until two uniforms haul it out the door, down the hall, bruised into the bustling lunchtime street, where the blur of pedestrians every few steps is punctuated by homeless persons, some screaming as if to disprove their invisibility, some curled like commas on the sidewalk. A wind pats down the trees. Heavy clouds have come, uninvited, crowding the city sky. Maybe I can't belong anywhere, the poem mutters, so no one will hear. Maybe I should have said I had to leave because there's nowhere left to go. Though the poem, who'd spent its life trying to be clear, knew those words didn't make any sense. Being itself a stranger is stranged. The poem is bugged by a niggling question about its own true origins. But who really gives a shit? The poem shouts as if as the back to work citizens veer and scatter. In some shop windows, the poem almost sees its face, brown, indelible, disappearing quietly like the mist that had just begun to fall. This poem is called In the Open, and it has an epigraph. The epigraph is, "Hey Siri." Most people still seem okay, but already some drag one leg and drool. But this place has never really made sense. So who can be shocked when someone else breaks down? Since November, it's easier to tell who's who voted for whom. It's like they're always hungry. In the supermarket, long smiles and high fives. Suicide has become common, though disappearing at the hands of persons unknown is also no surprise. Hard to tell what's real from what's on HBO. Hey Siri, are more Americans baring their teeth? Fear, fear the walking dead, she says. Every so often, you see blue uniforms. I still have some faith in the police, though it really does look like they're part of the spread. Anyway, it's out in the open now. The contagion moves freely, filling stadiums with a kind of glee. For a lot of us, nausea is just a daily thing. And gangs of citizens have started chasing and biting. And pretty quickly, the bitten begin to sound like the people they once had feared. And though they still look like the neighbors we remember, still stomp the bleachers and howl, French fries in hand, ketchup leaking from their mouths. You know that sometime soon it's going to be you they need to eat. Thank you very much. I raise my cup to all of you.
Yeah, that I see that someone in the chat says that it was Suzanne Lummis who said that this landed on her. I think it was large enough to land on me as well.
I can only hope to have the poem land someplace.
It has. There's one of us here.
Uh,
So
Thank you so much, Tim. I am the one in charge of replacing Spotlight, and I spilled a little water on my computer while we were talking, so it's just taking a second to dry and give me back control.
whoops.
Robbie, you're spotlighted, Tim, once again. That is Tim Siebels. And Tim, before we totally let you off the hook, tell us the name of your most recent book and where we get it.
Oh, well, the most recent book that's actually in existence is Voodoo Libretto. That's the new and selected collection. You can get it if you go to my website. There's information about how to order it. You can also probably go to Amazon. You can also go directly to Etruscan Press. That's Etruscan and order it. And if you apparently if you tell them you heard me read, they'll give you a discount. That's my understanding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is a nice idea, right? My newest book that will come out early next year is called With No Hat, but it's not out yet. It is not a book yet. It is only, and it's in press. So that's also coming from Etruscan.
And
All right.
I love your new and selected. I reviewed it, so
That's right.
it's well worth getting.
Thank you, Robbie.
You're welcome. And oh, you said that the new one is going to come out from Etruscan as well. It's nice to have a press.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming tonight. And we all needed to hear every one of those poems.
Oh, thanks, Robbie. Well, I wouldn't have missed it. I actually flew back from Santa Fe this afternoon because I was going to
Wow.
do this reading. I was not going to miss Cornelius, and I was going to do this reading. So I just got here. My head is still up in the clouds somewhere, but I am here.
Hey.
Here's you. And I hope to be listening to you on the podcast sometime.
Yeah. Looking forward to our discussion coming up.
Our next feature is Cornelius Eady, and he is one of the founders with poet Toyd Derricott of Cave Canem, a nonprofit organization that supports emerging Black poets. He's published 10 collections of poetry and is also a musician and librettist. Eady is currently professor of English at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and served previously as the interim director of Poets House in New York City, where I hope it's not still flooding.
No, it's back on his feet. It's doing well, as a matter of fact.
I saw those videos of the subway today. Well, go on.
Okay, that's great. Short and sweet. Thank you for that. It's great to be here, Tim. I mean, really, I'm doing this. I loved it for the invitation, but when the invitation was wrapped up with the possibility of reading with Tim. Well, that was this it. That was the end of it. I mean, of course I'm going to do this. Tim and I go back a long while. Now, did you notice how elegantly he called me an old man at the beginning of his reading? See how he slipped that knife in? I've known him for a very, very long time. I've known him since before he's, I mean, like I'm old and decrepit and, one foot in the grave. And that's all right. That's all right, Seables. That's okay. That's fine. It's fine. It's all right. I still love you. It's okay. Yeah. But he's right. He's right. Tim and I go way, way back. I got a copy of one of his books. He sent me a copy of one of your early books, right, Tim? Body Moves, right? Was just fantastic, right? Fantastic book. The energy in them, just a great book, and just knocked me out. And we've been friends ever since. And we've been doing all that. He's taught at coffee. Carlin, I always have him come visit my workshops when I'm teaching because and my students always leave thinking I'm the smartest guy in the world for knowing Tim. So it's great to be here and great to share some poems with you tonight. I'm going to start with a response to Tim's poem to me, was a wonderful poem. I'm going to continue with that idea of music and rhythm and blues and how it kind of influenced what we do, who we are. I actually read this poem. I had the honor of reading this poem in my old high school science classroom. Way after the book came out, I was invited to come back to my old high school, John Marshall High School in Rochester, New York. And I had this wonderful feeling of being able to be back in the room and actually read this poem in my old high school. So, The Supremes. We were born to be gray. We went to school, sat in rows, ate light bread, looked at the floors a lot. In the back of our small heads, a long scream. We did what we could, and all we could do was turn on each other. How the fat kids suffered. Not even being jolly could save them. And then there were the anal retentives, the terrified brown noses, the desperately athletic or popular. This, of course, was training. At home, our parents shook their heads and waited. We learned the Industrial Revolution, the sectioning of the clock into pie slices. We drank Cokes and twiddled our thumbs. In the back of our minds, a long scream. We snapped butts in the showers, froze out shy girls on the dance floor, pinpointed flaws like rail. Slowly we understood. This was to be the world. We were born insurance salesmen and secretaries, housewives and short order cooks, stockroom boys and repairmen. And it wouldn't be a bad life, they promised, in a tone of voice that would force some of us to reach in self-defense for wigs, lipstick, sequins. I had this wrote this poem about Thelonious Monk, the jazz pianist, very eccentric jazz pianist, and I had actually had a line in it. The motion frozen in these skyscrapers was the original line. It can be sung, and I put that in because I wanted to connect, Thelonious to modern architecture. That's how cool he was, right? So I put that together, and I read it, and then after the reading, some guy, an ex-con, came up to me and said, I like that poem about Thelonious Monk, but you do know how he did it, don't you? And you have those, sometimes you have that moment of what can I say? of vulnerability, cultural vulnerability, right? You're a young Black man and you're supposed to be cool, you're supposed to know everything. So you have this moment where basically you have two choices. The first choice is simply just to pretend you know what he's talking about and probably get killed. And the second choice is simply to just be smart and simply say, no, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So he said, you do know how he did that, don't you? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, I lived in Thelonious Monk's neighborhood, and I'd see Thelonious Monk. We were walking down the street, and Thelonious Monk, he walked down the street, he'd go over to a lamppost, and he'd put his ear against the lamppost, and then he'd listen to the hum, and then he'd go home and he'd play the hum. Isn't that a great story? I don't even know if that's true, but yeah, I mean, it's just a great story. And one of the things I love about jazz is the mythology of jazz, right? Stories that could be or could not be true, but might be true. So I changed the line from skyscrapers to lampposts, thanks to that guy, Thelonious Monk. I know what to do with math. Listen to this. It's arithmetic, a soundtrack. The motion frozen in these lampposts. It can be sung. I can lift away its logic, make it spin like an orbital satellite, find gambling's true pitch. It can be played. Adventure, the trying of patience, holding back, holding up, laying out, stop time, slow motion, time travel, space walking. It can be splintered, strained to the fine mesh of a second. Now I'll try a few bars of what's next. Run it over my hands, ignite it, make the fire sound like April in Paris. This is I'm going to read some poems, a new sequence that I'm working on about the jazz bass player, Willie Dixon. I'm going to start with this thing that's about lead belly. Lead belly. You can actually hear it in his voice. Sometimes the only way to discuss it is to grip a guitar as if it were somebody's throat and pluck. If there were a ship off of this planet, an arc where the blues could show its other face, a street where you could walk, just walk, without dogged air at your heels, at your back. Don't you think he'd choose it? Meanwhile, here's the tune. Bad luck, empty pockets, trouble, walking your way with his tin ear. Looking to readjust, here we go. Okay, so, Miles Davis. Actually, this was inspired by a phone conversation with Afal Weaver. Kind of. My friend is writing about the first time he listened to Kind of Blue by Miles Davis. And I tell him, yes, I bet everyone has a story. Kind of like their first kiss. How did it happen? Where were you? On which of your younger days did Paul Chambers' bass first lick your ear? Did you first think you didn't want to hear anything to do with that crazy stuff? No words, no verses, choruses, music for dark glasses and cigarette holders. Did one of your friends, a convert, drag you to the stereo, fired up by the sight of a world wider than the narrow, invisible rails you were running on? The record is famous for this. the record that readjusts your opinion, and you pause. The needle has hit a new groove. On which of your younger days did the afternoon simmer down, and that smoothness falls out to you, and then everything else? Okay, so this is a cycle of poems about the blues bass player, songwriter, Willie Dixon. Now, most people think they don't know Willie Dixon, but if you know Muddy Waters, if you heard any of those songs, then you know Willie Dixon because he basically wrote those songs. He was a great bass player, great arranger. He was in a house band at Chess Records. If you've heard anything out of Chess by Chuck Berry in his early recordings, the bass player on those recordings is Willie Dixon. But Willie was also a conscientious objector in the Second World War, like Muhammad Ali in the Vietnam War. He went to jail rather than fight for a country that he felt wouldn't fight for him. So I was going to write a poem about that, about his refusing to serve, and I started to do some research, biographical stuff about Willie, and when I started reading about it, it blew my mind about what Willie's life was really like. I haven't even gotten to the conscientious objector part. It's just this incredible story. So I'm going to read you some poems from that cycle. It's called The Ballad of Willie Dixon. There's a couple of things in here that are kind of rough, so I'll give you some trigger warnings. Some bad things happen in these poems. The Ballad of Willie Dixon. Willie Dixon is 12 years old when he's raped by a white female guard at a prison farm. This is in Mississippi, and for a while, he believes this is why you must be afraid of women. They will point a finger at you, the catch of the day. This is the South of the 1920s. And if you're caught, as Willie was caught, for doing what doesn't matter, you will be led, pulled to a shed. I want that nigger is your name, and she is a foul feast where she lays your head, your tongue, which cannot ask for anything, even air, this tabor of hair you cannot refuse. For as long as this takes, she owns your mouth, your lips. This is your work for the day, something it seems only a black boy can do. Convenience. Willie Dixon was 13 years old when he and his buddy Shadrick landed at Allen Farm. They tried to hobo out of Mississippi. Mississippi didn't want them, but didn't want them to go. Caught them as they were changing trains. Judge gave them 60 days on a work farm. How does that sound? When they got to the gate, they got plucked like two dumb hens. How does that sound? Hey, Willie, how does your leg like them irons on your ankle? Hey, Shadrick, don't you wish something had changed your mind? How does that sound? Took him to a shack, tar roof and chicken wire, slept on a shit-blessed floor. And when that evil sun come up, Cotton's waiting to bleed their baby fingers. Cotton's gonna salt their nappy heads. How does that sound? They thought they were headed for Chicago, but Mississippi said, your mama can't help you. Your daddy's in a camp down the road. And that sound you hear, the way we let the old cons sing after work, that shit they growl to the rhythm of their chains, that's the trick of living at our convenience. 60 days. An old convict caught young Willie Dixon counting down his 60-day sentence on Allen Farm in Mississippi. Man, how he laughed. Dixon, he said, the fields ain't picked. And after that, they'll get you to drain the swamp. And after that, there's a pick and shovel waiting to marry your ass. And after that, till your heart stalls, till your brain goofs, till your breath tatters, till your dick forgets women, till the day you forget how to address the captain, till your foot pisses off a cottonmouth, till your days shrivel. Then the cooling board of the glory gates and a fresh man in your bunk. Black Annie. Shedrick and me, Willie Dixon, Captain made us bury this old black guy. Guy used to be a preacher. Because I saw the guards beat him to death over what? On Allen Farm, everybody knows. They don't need no reason. What you looking at, boy, said the captain, and I knew I was cooked because he was swinging Black Annie. Black Annie, that whip that whooped down so many of us. That thick leather strap, glass and bottle cap sprinkled in to kiss us good, as if his fists weren't enough. Now it was my time. Wished I lived in a world where I could strike back. Wish I lived in a state where a man like that can't be a man like that. Captain thought I'd seen too much. Or Captain did a quick inventory, saw that me and Annie hadn't been properly introduced yet. Or maybe he was just in the mood. Ain't like lightning got to explain itself to a tree. This scar across my cheek, that was for my eyes, watching that poor man as he Jesus and Mama cried his last, a rabbit being shook in a coyote's jaw. That was my apology to the captain. And this is true. This is how he left the farms. The mule. Willie Dixon left Allen Prison Farm on a mule. He was hauling water when he decided to stop hauling water. Willie Dixon saw no one was studying that mule. Sometimes luck gives you a ride instead of a kick. Took that mule down the road. Don't know how long till they missed the mule. Don't know how long till they missed the man. This took care of a few things weighing on Willie's mind, like, was he going to make 14 years old? Like, was he ever going to live to see Chicago, which he knew was a level life city? Must have been hip to ride away from the fine print of being a Negro in Mississippi. Must have felt wild to travel a bit on the back of things going her way. Old black woman told Willie, if you stick to the trees, the captain and his men can't be satisfied. Willie stuck to the trees. And the blues? The blues gave Willie the strength to tug a stubborn mule across the Yazoo River. And the blues? The blues set his plate with raw potatoes and crawfish for a week. Willie rode those leaving blues from the back of the mule to a hobo boxcar outside Memphis. When he hit Chicago, he wasn't losing. Mojo rising. If it's raining, then that mojo hand is going to find a way. I'm sorry, I gotta do it again. Mojo rising. If it's raining, then that mojo hand is going to find a way to land it on some other guy's roof. Might turn it to acid or monkey piss. Sneak down the inside of a bottle he's been swigging from. Won't even know how his misery button got pushed. When it works. All sorts of debts get paid. Confuse the hellhound called slim wages and overdue, like Jesus bribed the police and gave your block the day off. Mojo lived at the back of the house. The crusted aroma of pots and pans and rough cigars of women who know what they know, a bone, a palm, the roots that still hold the taste of soil older than the soil they were stolen to. When Willie Dixon was young, he knew an old man that fooled the wolves into thinking all he was good for was pushing a mop or a broom. But after that part of the day, up came the old remedies, the words that grew him back up from a boy, the spells that will soon simmer on the Willie's blues. The good Lord ain't gonna settle that score. Got Mojo looking out for you. Every roll of a 7, and you get to strut out of the hospital alive. From a shuck worker to a little red rooster, Willie watched how that worked. Thank you.
Thank you. I can barely speak after that, between the two of you. But we've gone on a little bit longer than we planned, so we might have to shorten the open mic just a little. I'm gonna leave myself out. And Tricia dumped water accidentally on her mouse, so I'm not sure she's gonna be able to read. But I have anybody who wants to volunteer to bow out of the open mic. I have another reading scheduled for Saturday morning at 11 o'clock with Sonia Greenfield and Doug Anderson, and you can come and read there. But I have on the list here, Rose is the first person on the list. Thank you so much, Cornelius, and I put your information into the chat so that others can see it, but I cannot change the view because I don't think, because I'm not the proper host of this reading. Let me try
Yeah,
to
Robbie,
go.
I made you the technical proper host. You can change the view. You have complete control.
Okay, then great. Our first reader then for a short poem is Rose.
Well, it's not such a short poem because it's the one I chose for today, but I chose it deliberately, and some of you might have heard it before. It comes from a magic place at a time of innocence. The first time I saw black, and they were very, very black, tall, elegant, and black. My friend and I, newbies in Paris, 18 and wide-eyed, we were sophisticated Parisians sitting in a cafe on the left bank, La Rive Gauche. People watching. What else? She from Sweden, I from Germany. We had met at the Sorbonne, measuring the size of the world. Suzanne had a vermouth, I had a Dubonnet. It tasted like poison, but the ads were irresistible. And if you wanted to pass for international grown-up, you said it out loud, pronounced it just so, to the gorgeous waiter who smiled. He couldn't have been much older than we were. Oh, and his French mais oui. And then we walked by, slowly, seemed to be looking for a table. We passed each other as we were leaving. I think we gaped. At that moment, the dynamic changed. Instead of sitting down where we had just left, those two handsome guys accompanied us to the bridge. Leaning over the sides of the bridge, looking into the dark waters of the River Seine, we made conversation haltingly, our French at an embryo stage. Comment ça va? Those two were fluent, but had an accent we hadn't heard before. The whites of their shirt collars emphasized the black of the skin of their necks and faces. When they smiled, we saw a row of white gleaming in the streetlights that lined the bridge. Well, you know, the usual. D'où venez-vous? Where are you from? It's been so long, I think they came from Senegal. I don't know about my friend, But as we stood there and tried our wings, one of the Senegalese boys put his hand on the bridgestones next to mine. My hand so white, his hand so black. And we looked at each other and marveled, our hearts growing in the knowledge that the world was indeed a wondrous place. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Our next reader is Lynn.
Hi, everybody. All right, this is a trio lay, so it's very short. It's called Safe Conversations. To make safe conversations, one sticks to the weather. It's hot, it's cold, about to rain. One skirts religion and politics. To make safe conversations, one sticks to sports, not storms that turn a house to toothpicks, or climate damage caused by CO2 and methane. To make safe conversations, one sticks to the weather. It's hot, it's cold, about to rain. Thank you.
Hey,
Neat little turns there. Thank you very much. Our next reader is Janet.
Thank you. I'm going to read this poem called Black Ice. Today is the 14th anniversary of my father's passing. And Virgil, I just wanted to say thank you because a few months before he passed away, he read your poem, Uncle Isidoro, and he loved it. So thank you so much for that. Black Ice. Snow turns to sleet and rain, the car off cruise control. Headlights glare on sparkling asphalt. I like to think I'm a good driver, but I panic, brake too hard. The tires lock. Brake slowly is what all the books say, but it takes so long to stop. Each new patch of black ice surprises me, and I slide before I realize what has happened. Head on toward the guardrails, metal against metal, my pulse races. I grab the wheel, tight, too tight. Steer into the skid, steer into the skid. Black ice lasts for only 20 feet or so. Finally, I stop, readjust my seatbelt, restart the car, release the clutch. One foot on the gas, the other perched over the brake. A misnomer, black ice. Black ice is transparent, transparent as the grief that hovers above the asphalt as I look for the lights of home. My father no longer sitting on the front porch waiting for me.
Okay, thank you. Our next reader is Doris. Don't meet too many Dorises these days. Are you still here? I don't see anybody sideways, so she might have left. Okay. The next person after that is Marjorie.
This is the last poem in a book about very hard subjects, so it ends on some hope. Ode to everything. Enough of the lamentations. Open the window and sing. The world is awash with world, color dripping globe always tilting into some ah or another, clouds stretching wide plump happiness. Even in the noisy stage show of showers, such sunny ovations. And the birds, overpopulating every poem, swoop here for free. Swallow, hawk, robin, gull, eagle, what else can be written but wings that wave horizon to horizon? And enough of windows. Praise doors. Step out with arms open and eyes gathering vim and vision, grandeur trailing from worm and woodchuck, branch puzzles of woods open boat of breeze, all brimming with hey and hallelujah and celebrate. Such green giving of thanks, such miraculous mercy of earth, calm valley, and even this rugged rocky chain we climb now as family, claiming praise as respite, holding close each breaking day, dangerous yet divine in all its gorgeous glory.
Yeah, I love that one. Thank you, Marjorie. Our next person is Ralph.
Well, I had actually said in the chat that I would bow out, but it's a
Oh,
very short poem.
I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is called Story Time in Shestakov. Shestakov is a village in Kharkiv Oblast in eastern Ukraine. Small groups of children gather in the colors of song and tattered flags. The young woman's voice, a path they know to follow into the hills. Across the trellis of fresh-turned fields, chains of smoke suddenly bud. The rearing horse, the rider turning in his silver armor for a last look. A flame ascends the tower up the long plea of the braid. Today's tale is over. He sheds his gloves, finger by finger. Thank you.
I apologize that I can't make it just one speaker. It won't cooperate today.
But you can go to gallery. I did it on mine and it works.
Gallery, okay. I'll try that. I was pushing speaker. Now I've got gallery, and we'll see if a speaker comes up. And if not, well, we'll have tried it. Claudia, are you here?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to Tim and Cornelius and Robbie and Trisha. I'm Claudia Gary, and this poem is called Elegy for Our Own Words. Our words would tumble heavily onto the page, but get up, walk across and back, remembering our days, unlike the words spelled out by an AI, their artifice purporting to be human. Ours contained deep memories of beauty, ugliness, sensation of all kinds, however awkward, not the pseudo-elegance proffered by the AI. We were allowed to fail, revise, begin again, elucidate, restate quirky humanity. One day, our words no longer dared to walk across the page, since an AI could always dance around them. It had soundly sabotaged, then conquered us. Oh, little words, large words, our own words, spinning off into the ether. Let's regenerate our words in memory of ourselves fashioned out of words. Thank you.
Thank you. And that made me think, Claudia, today about the story that I read, I think in the New York Times might have been, about how two AIs were fighting with each other on X. Okay, our next reader is Daryl. You still here?
I am still here.
Okay.
Thank you. And I especially love the Popeye poem, I gotta say, for Timothy. That was one of my faves for the night. This piece is from the Collapse Press Letters for the End Times Anthology 2. And I had trouble coming up with like an apocalyptic end of the world kind of poem, and then I saw a bag blowing across the street, and this came out. It is called Bag. I mistook it for an animal at first, some bizarre beige beast skittering across the street, but no, it was just your basic, boring bag, stuck in the spiral swirl of city street breezes. Unless it was an animal, some sentient species hailing from a strange society of aliens with simulated beige bag skin, perhaps sent to explore the human habitats of Earth, preparing to terraform them, regenerate, and repopulate after we've burned it all to the ground. Or maybe it was just a basic boring bag. But could it have been AI animated, a secret bag-covered spy balloon sent by enemies of the state, by foreign powers hoping to infiltrate, to permeate and debilitate our infrastructure? Perhaps it will reveal itself as a rocket-launching drone with a deceptive discarded debris exterior, designed to disappear into any urban environment. Its potential applications for war are terrifying. I seek out this unknown that has intruded into my psyche and snatch it from its flight. There are no metallic machinations within, no fleshy alien form. It's just a basic, boring bag. I toss it into the trash, feeling a little more secure than before, but not really.
Well, that gives you thought, doesn't it? Thank you so much, Daryl. Mark?
Kind of Blue, All Blue was recorded in one track, and there's not one single mistake in the bass or the drum. Yeah. This poem is called Immigrant Trash. My mom became a citizen at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion, a dazzling ceremony, flags and oaths. She was now American. No one could call her easy or a commie or make fun of her accent. At least that's what she believed before the French set out the search for weapons of mass destruction, before Marines and their wives pushed her out of line at the Stater Brothers in Oceanside. This woman who gave Eisenhower flowers when the Americans liberated her town now was immigrant trash. Now I am immigrant trash, watching La Migra humiliate my students, their brown skin contraband, human robots hiding behind masks. I hold my roots, a man caught in a hurricane, and sing, "Who the fuck are you?" Thank you.
Besides, what the hell's a citizen anymore once they get rid of birthright?
Amen.
Bless your. Okay. Tricia, do you want to end off the reading? You have to unmute yourself.
There. Yes, thank you so much. I just want to make one final plug and remind everyone that we are starting a press and we do want readers. And in August, every Sunday, I'm facilitating a workshop on writer as editor. So if you have thought, hey, I wonder how poets go about choosing those poems that get in the journals, this is a really good opportunity to be on the other side of that. So if you want to find out more, you can find out more at the Poetry Salon stack.substack.com. And thank you again, Cornelius and Tim, for being here. I know, Tim, you have a poem for Cornelius. I'm going to end with a poem for another poet. Some of you may have known the poet Andrea Gibson, or you may have known of her. I believe she passed just yesterday. I did not know her personally, but I knew her work. And she's very famous for a poem called Things That Don't Suck, which if you work with kids and teenagers is a great way to introduce them to poetry. It's just a list of things that don't suck. And it's the way that poetry kind of affects us. It's having a day where things could have sucked and they went better than expected. And that poem came to mind. So I wrote this poem after Andrea Gibson, called Things That Don't Totally Suck, about getting support. A stranger offered to share her lift with me because my app wasn't working. The driver want red chilies or green, tell them stop. Yolanda from the Department of Transportation stayed on the phone with me explaining how to get from each station to the next. It had been a long trip. People I love had ghosted me. Friends I used to count on continued to disappear from my life. But now in the desert, the small bushes of sage offered what they had. The scrub stretched to the horizon where crows waited for the blue hills to wither and fall. I was surprised that anything could grow under these conditions. Green hatched chilies and red ones thrived in the heat. At Crash Murder Business Cafe, the barista let me stay in the AC while she cleaned up. She could tell I was tired from traveling. I had emails to send, payments I was waiting to receive. Before I left, she asked if I wanted a free burrito to go and which I wanted, the one with red chilies or green. I told her Christmas style, and so she gave me both, not because I was a local, but because I was a stranger traveling in her strange land.
Thanks, Tricia, and everyone, and thanks especially to our wonderful features. And we appreciate that you were here and that you gave us the gift of your words.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thanks for inviting us both. Great to hang with you, Tim.
Yeah, well, Cornelius, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. I only
Yeah,
regret
me too.
that we couldn't do it for longer and read poems, like do it like a poetry filibuster and
We'll
just
do this some other
read
time.
and
It's
read
a good
and read.
idea. Keep that thought in your mind.
I'll listen to it.
We'll
Believe
figure
me.
this out. We'll figure this out.
Cornelius, can I
Thanks.
ask you a quick question?
Sure.
You're into music,
Yeah.
and there's an artist I absolutely love, Rhiannon Giddens, that
Oh,
I
yeah,
just
she's
brought to the
fabulous.
Hollywood
Yeah.
Bowl,
Right.
and just her amazing use of all the different talents she has to bring out her blackness, and also the union of music. She's
Yeah,
just
she's
a force
amazing.
of nature.
Yeah, she is. She's fantastic. I love her work.
Yeah, I've been listening to her work for a long time, and I love it too. Did you want to say hi?
Hello, Tim. Oh, hey, Richard. Hey, how you doing? Hey.
Appearing from out of the leaf.
I'm watching my stash and try not to be the guy with the beef.
There you go, man. There you go. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's just little pieces of him at a time.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw he just came through the leaf.
I know,
Yeah.
I love that. I love it. Just sort of appeared and disappeared and kind of like ghostly that kind of thing. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah. That was great.
Thank you so much for coming. And
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for
thank
inviting
you.
us. We really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
A real pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you
I
all.
had a great time.
You let me know and I'll find a place for you.
Okay.
We'll
And
do it.
Trisha, can we talk for a second afterwards?
Who's
Trish?
saying that?
It's
Tim,
me,
hey,
saying
Tim.
Tim. Yeah, I can stay on.
Okay, hang on for just a second. Be cool, Cornelius.